Ladies and gentlemen, today we have some pretty cool leaks to go over today that I think, in my opinion, point to some new Pokemon games coming sooner than later. We also have some weird news about some Rockstar games that almost made it to Nintendo consoles, so let's go and get right into this video. You know what they say, there's a couple things that are guaranteed in life. Things like death, taxes, and a yearly Pokemon game. And have we got a Pokemon game this year? No, I'm seriously asking you, have we got a Pokemon game this year? Because we probably could have already got one, and I just don't know that. Regardless, we have some leaks to go over today that I think point to some Pokemon games coming pretty soon, as well as like an event happening that I think might announce some Pokemon games coming, as well as some news for some Rockstar games that almost made it to some very strange Nintendo consoles. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me. And let's go ahead and get right into this video. So if we think about modern Pokemon games and the quality of them, to be honest, they're just not that good. And that's coming from a lifelong Pokemon fan. Like, I have been playing Pokemon since Pokemon Yellow came out. I've been collecting the cards since they came out. And when you ask me my favorite, I would always say anything from like the DS and before. Is that partly nostalgia talking? Sure, it could be. But when you look at the quality of the new games, there's just not much quality there to even talk about. When people ask me my favorite modern Pokemon games, they're always taken aback a little bit when I give them my answer, because my favorite modern Pokemon games are actually Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And yes, they're remakes of Pokemon Yellow. So of course I'm gonna like them kind of just from a nostalgia standpoint, but I think they're actually made pretty well. I also think Pokemon Legends Arceus was a pretty cool way to take the Pokemon genre. Sword and Shield, I don't mind. Scarlet and Violet, while I did beat them, where do I even begin with those? So they announced Pokemon, I don't even know what we're calling it, ZA or Z Alpha or Pokemon whatever the hell it's called. That's coming in 2025. So what about this year? What Pokemon games are coming for 2024? Because we have to have some. And you may say, well, maybe we don't get anything this year. But I'll show you why I don't think that's the case. So ladies and gentlemen, I have looked at the trademark office where they file trademarks, file patents, all that good stuff. And I actually had to screenshot these so I didn't lose my place. But I found these all 2 nights ago or last night maybe. But let's just look at what we have here. So here's a trademark, and as you can see, this is Pikachu. And the reason why I think it's a game is goods and services, recorded electronic game programs, downloadable electronic content, blah, blah, blah. So a game, right? It's not showing you any names, but I'm pretty sure this is a little Pokemon named Pikachu. Maybe, maybe not, who knows?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
So the application date was all the way back in November 2022, publication date March 19th, 2024, and the registration, the actual status, June 4th, 2024. So June was just last month. And the way we've been seeing a lot of these trademarks happen is like a trademark gets filed, pops up, within 90 days we're getting a game announcement or sometimes even a game release. But this is just one, right? You could say, well, that could be any kind of game. Maybe they have a mobile game. We also have this right here. Same exact thing, publication March, status, registration, June 4th. And look at these logos right here. They look very similar. Like, there's gotta be something that's in that negative space. And then we have this as well. March 19th, status and registration, June 4th. I'm not sure if these are new Pokeballs. I know there's something like a Sun Ball and maybe like a Moon Ball or something that you catch dark Pokemon with. I can't remember all the names of the Pokeballs. Forgive me. Oh, you're a real Pokemon fan? Name every Pokemon starting at the last one going backwards and say all their names backwards, or are you really a fan? Yeah, I can't remember the Pokeball names off the top of my head. But these look a little different. This one's off-white instead of regular white, and I feel like these could be new Pokeballs. That could be for the Pokemon ZA or whatever, but I'm just not seeing it. So since all these trademarks are very new, I think it's for something coming soon. And Pokemon is going to be at a major event pretty soon, like next month, I think. So we have Gamescom coming up, August 25th. We thought Nintendo was going to be there and maybe some Switch 2 stuff. I can't remember if they said they're not going to be there. I think they did say that. But Nintendo still could make an appearance. But Pokemon is actually going to be there. Here's one of the banners for the event. Sony, Square Enix, the Pokemon Company, THQ Nordic, TikTok, Ubisoft, and Xbox. Why the hell is TikTok there? Since Pokemon is going to be at Gamescom the end of August, it makes the most sense for them to do a Pokemon Presents probably the same week or maybe the week before or maybe the week after. But regardless, around the same date. They'll probably show off the new Pokemon game at Gamescom, show some trailers, maybe some gameplay, give you a little bit more information about the game, show some new cards, probably new anime, new movies, new merch, and some new games to hold you over. Until then, if I had to bet on any Pokemon games coming this year, I would say remakes of Gold and Silver, the same way we got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I remember like 4 or 5 months ago, somebody leaked out Pokemon Let's Go Togepi and Let's Go Wooper, and the logos look like the actual Pokemon company made them. I know anybody can make them, but I do think it adds just a little bit more fuel to the fire of us getting new Pokemon games this year, especially something like in a remake style. So I'm very curious how this all plays out. And Rockstar and Nintendo. They almost had some of the craziest Rockstar games come to Nintendo consoles, and if I had to ask you what games and what consoles, there's a good chance you couldn't guess what I'm talking about. 2 classic Rockstar games reportedly almost got Nintendo console ports. I'm not going to read this whole article, and I'm not going to waste your time. Rockstar reportedly wanted to port The Warriors and Bully to Nintendo's Game Boy Advance and DS once upon a time. That is absolutely insane. Probably The Warriors to the Game Boy Advance and then Bully to the DS, I'm sure. I mean, that's what they wrote right there. That's so crazy. Rockstar reportedly scrapped a near-finished The Warriors Game Boy Advance port, and what was this? Oh, that was like some actual gameplay. And Bully port was reportedly on the cards as well. Like I said, I'm not going to go into this whole article, but I do think that's a very interesting thing that it almost happened, and this happens so much in gaming. Games are almost done, or sometimes even done, and they're still scrapped. I think about the time of the Game Boy Advance into that and the beginning of the DS. That's when Nintendo was really starting to capture that family-friendly, everybody can enjoy these consoles look, I guess. So maybe having these ported over to Nintendo consoles would have maybe not captured that same image. But this is interesting, you know. Now we have a couple Rockstar games on the Switch. For the Switch 2, I hope we get more stuff. Obviously, it's going to be more powerful, but only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about all this information? Do you even like Pokemon? And if you do, are you a fan of the older games or the newer games? Start a conversation below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could. I would really appreciate a follow. And you guys know me. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.